I would have your bolster handy because we are going to use it again today. So just come into mountain pose. Just bring the hands together at the heart. And draw the elbows away from one another and try to lift your chest and just feel how drawing the elbows away from the midline of the body stretches and opens the collarbones, lifts the chest. And relax your shoulder blades down your back. And then bow your head, salute the teacher within. And then release the hands to the thighs. Let's roll the shoulders. Just kind of feel all of those directions of your shoulder blades, making sure you're pulling them forward and drawing towards each other, as well as taking them up and down. Just see if they're moving and gliding easily on your collar, on your rib cage, or if they're stuck. And then just come back to mountain pose. Your arms by your side. Let's take the arms up by the ears and bring them down. So exhale to take them up. We usually inhale, but I'm asking you to exhale because at this early stage of the practice, this is where the most effort is. So we try to exhale in the most effortful part of the movement. So exhale, inhale, exhale, and really send your arms up. Inhale, exhale, stretch, inhale, exhale, hold them up as you inhale, interlace your fingers, turn your palms up. Now lengthen the back of your neck by dropping your chin slightly and pulling your whole head back, like you're going to take it behind your arms, but you're not. Take the tailbone down, take your back, top of your sacrum back, and then release your arms. Take your feet apart, circle your hips. Really relax your upper body. Let your head and neck kind of follow in a very natural way, whatever it needs to do. And reverse it. And then make your way back. And get your second chair. And just open it up with the back of the chair to you. Make your legs wide like you had them for the hip circles. Now, this really is easiest done without your second chair on your mat. If you have it on your mat, it's going to, you won't be able to slide it. So an easy thing to do is just to flip whatever end your chair is on over and put your chair on the ground so that you can move it. If you're on carpet, it should slide pretty easily. So we're just gonna stretch the back by putting the hands on the back of the chair, pushing the chair forward. You can keep your head up, Harita, so that it doesn't aggravate the vertigo. But if you're don't have those issues, just bring your head in line with your arms and just reach out as far as you can. But make sure that you're keeping your navel gently contracted so that you're not arching your back. And then the harder part of this move actually is pulling the chair back as you come up. Pull the chair all the way back to the original position again. If you have it on your mat at all, this is going to be really hard. Now, put the chair over to the right, do the same thing, push it out. Keep your left hip on your chair, go out as far as you can. Feel the stretch on the left sideways, so you can just keep reaching that left side forward. And then again, the harder part, pulling the chair back. Bring it over to the left and push. Reaching through the right arm, right hip down. Keep the neck long. And then pulling it back. Ugh. Sometimes it doesn't want to come, right? And then back to the center. And go right down the center. And coming back. If you tip it, it really doesn't want to come. Okay, so take it back to the right. This time, put your right hand more in the center. Take your left arm back. Try to reach your left hand to the back of your grab the back of the chair. And, you don't necessarily want to be going directly outside. It's kind of a diagonal movement, so you don't overstretch your shoulder. And then pull it back. Grab hold with your left hand. Push it diagonally to the left as you grab with the right. And pull back. Good. Bring your legs back to mountain pose and just put your chair, can be on the mat or not, doesn't matter. Just turn, grab hold of the sides of the second chair, turn by using the second chair to help you to rotate your rib cage. Turn your head back to the left. And turn it to the right. And back to the left. Look at your knees. Pull that left knee back if it's managed to crawl itself forward of the right one. And then release. And bring your chair to the other side. And turn. Bring your legs as close to one another as you can. Using them to kind of create stability through your pelvis. your low back so that the twist is up where it needs to be in your ribs and the thoracic spine. Turning the head from side to side. And then I'm turning all the way back to the front. Very good. Okay, so now get your bolster. And you're gonna put your bolster in the seat of your chair. Actually, well, you're gonna have to stand up, obviously. So while you're standing up, we might as well do a quick mountain pose. So just, have your bolster, get your bolster, and just put your bolster in your chair seat. And then come back to mountain pose. And activate your legs, lifting up through all the muscles of the legs. Putting your pelvis into a very neutral position where the sacrum is kind of more up and down rather than tilted either forward or back. Lifting up through your pubic bones, spreading across the collarbones. Okay, and then relax. Okay, so we're gonna do chair pose with the bolster in the chair. And I'm gonna do it this way because I think it's a little bit more realistic to the actual traditional pose. So I want to show you this. I'm going to use blocks. You may or may not need blocks, and you may or may not need, I don't know what height you're going to need them at, if you need them. So I'll do this to the side. So I'm going to pull the blocks close to my chair legs because that's the way it will position my knees more to a traditional chair. Okay, now I'm put my feet up and see they're too far forward. So I want to pull them way back. So do you see how my knees or my thighs are kind of moving down? There's a big flexion in my ankle joints. But what this does is it positions my trunk in a way in which I have to really use all of these muscles of my core to maintain the position. Okay, so I'm not sitting back on the bolster. I'm sitting more towards the middle. I don't want to feel like I'm falling off the front, but I do want to kind of feel like I am moving forward, okay? So position yourself that way with your legs hip width, not pelvic width. And get your feet way back so you have this big angle at the front of your ankles. Put your hands on your thighs, elbows straight, and lean. Kind of lean forward. And as you lean forward, you'll feel more weight into your ankles. And as you feel more weight into your ankles, draw your navel back so that more weight goes into the heels, but also you feel these muscles of your thighs really engaging. And as you push down into your thighs with your hands and your arms, try to lift your chest and take your neck into a little bit of an extension. Okay, So don't throw it's not just a bend, it's a lengthening. And then a looking up. Now find your breath. You should be feeling your legs, your thigh muscles in particular, which is why I like doing the pose this way. And then relax and just sit back so that you're taking all of the weight out of the work of the thighs. Was everybody feeling that in your thigh muscles? Okay, good. Okay, so we'll take it one more time. You may want to look at, I'm looking at my blocks and realizing that they're not actually level. Okay, so again, forward, thighs moving slightly down, hands on your thighs, push back through your heels and back through your shin bones. Draw your navel back, lift your chest. Now, you can stay here or a little harder, taking the arms up by the ears. This is truly as close to traditional chair pose as I've been able to discover without doing it without props. So the thighs are really working. Hopefully you're feeling your core drawing back towards the spine, creating lots of stability. Arms down, leaning back. Whew. That gets the heart rate going. Okay, stand up. And again, Harita, use the wall or whatever you need to, if you don't want to put your head below your heart. Okay, so now you're going to face your chair standing. Put your blocks on their flat, big, long edge in front of your chair legs. Right up to them. And then stand behind your blocks. And you can adjust this obviously as you go into the pose. So we're doing Uttanasana. I don't want you to be too close to your chair. So we want the back to be long. So first, mountain pose legs, lifting up through all the muscles of the legs. Lift your toes up to activate your arches. Spread those toes to get some roots. Send them out from the feet. Buttock splash goes down, thighs back. From the hip crease, just put your fingertips on your bolster and look forward. Now just take a few breaths here. Hopefully this is not at all challenging for the backs of your legs. So just hold it and focus more on the lift of your thighs and the pressing back of your thighs. So thighs lift and press back. And start to activate and lift your navel as you continue forward. Don't disturb your spine, just let it come as one piece. And see if you can put your forearms on your bolster. Relift your legs. Now at this point, hopefully you're feeling some lightness in your heels, that more of the weight should be coming into the front foot rather than the back foot. So the backs of the legs are really having to open. Backs of the knees and the thighs. Try to roll your front thighs in towards one another and just notice the little bit of widening that happens across your buttocks. Now, if you can, we're going to go ahead and put our forehead on the bolster. Stay forward. in your feet. Don't let your weight come back, but push your thighs back, but not so that you go into your heels. Just push your thighs back as you're rolling them in. Rest your forehead, and then stretch your arms down and put your fingers on the blocks. You can adjust the blocks higher if you need to. Or if you don't need them for some reason, if you have really long arms, then you can remove them. But draw the shoulder blades down the back, pull your sternum towards the bolster, pull your thighs back, and again, the weight should be in the front of the foot. Try to roll your arm bones out. Just relax. Don't push down with your forehead. The forehead should just be gently resting, not pushing. And then bring your hands up to the bolster, push down, and stand all the way up. And just take a deep breath. Enjoy the opening. Okay. Sorry, sometimes I forget what I'm doing or where I was going anyway. What was I going to do next? I can't remember. Okay, it'll come back to me here in a minute. Let's go ahead and stretch in Parsvottanasana that we did on Thursday. So leave your blocks where they are. Put your right foot forward where it's almost under your chair, but not. Step your left leg back. Let the left leg roll in, but then push to the outer heel. And put your hands on your hips. Keep your hips level as you come forward. Put your hands on your bolster. Now, push a little bit with your front leg forward to get more weight back to the back leg. Okay? The back should feel like it's rounding a little bit. That's okay. Tailbone is going down, not straight back. Put your hand back there on your pelvis and see if you're flat across. Now from here, really the rest of these directions are totally up to you and your body. So being here, if you're feeling a really strong, good stretch in your legs, and you're holding the position, stay here. This is good. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears. If you have more stretch, just bend your elbows. Bring your forehead down if you can. And then finally, you can reach your hands down to the blocks. Now the feet should feel firmly connected to the ground with the arches lifted. And then just, if you got your head down, then you can easily glance back at your legs. And especially the back leg. You want to just notice if in the back leg, if the hip and the ankle are in line with one another, or is your hip way outside the line of your outer ankle? And if it is, bring it in because you're overstretching the front leg's hip if you're pushing too far out. So try to stay in the middle. Now there's one other thing that you can try if you want with this pose is to stretch the head forward and rest the chin as you keep the shoulders away from your ears. And if you're on your chin, come back to your forehead. Bring your hands to the bolster, push, and step forward. And stand in mountain pose. And then we'll change sides. So left leg forward, right leg back. And again, get your pelvis squared. And from your hip crease, pull back. Put your fingertips on your bolster. Roll your arm bones out. Shoulder blades down the back, and then draw your tailbone down towards your right heel. Pull the front body long. And then up to you. And come down onto your forearms. This is another place you could just stay, but keep the chin up. Notice your breathing. And then you can take the forehead to the bolster if you like. And you can keep your hands up on the bolster if it feels safer, or just stretch them down onto your blocks. Take a moment to check that back leg. Make sure you're not pushing the right hip outside of the right ankle. Check the pelvis. Roll the arm bones out. And then after being here for a few breaths, if you want to come onto the chin in order to get more length out of your spine, do that. It's closer to the traditional pose. And then take your hands back up to the bolster and step in and stand up in the mountain pose. Okay, so Prasarita Padottanasana, basically same thing, only with wide legs. So, and open hip rather than closed. So may want to, well, you do want to have your chair on the long edge. And your bolster still in your chair seat, and blocks where they were in front of the legs of the chair. And then just standing in mountain pose for a moment, and I'm finding center. Let's take the legs nice and wide. So go as wide as you can and turn your legs in. So this is really important, like for you, Cookie, because of what I think is the shape of your pelvis. You can go wide, but you've got to roll in. Don't try to roll out and go wide. Go really, really wide. Okay. From here, I want you to reach from your outer hips to your outer heels. From the inside of your foot, draw up all the way into your inner groins. And then go straight back, put your fingertips on the bolster. You can just stay up here, keep the shoulder blades down, roll the arm bones out. Take your tailbone down now. It's going to want to pop up towards the ceiling. So take it down now. And then you can start to go forward more if you want. And you can drop your arms as you like, and you may not need as much height here simply because your legs are wide, but you figure that one out. So push from your inner heel to your outer heel. Draw your tailbone down. Lift your belly up. Roll the arm bones out again and pull the shoulder blades away from your ears. And then if you want, come onto your chin. Now, if you come onto your chin, you really want to work with the tailbone going down. And then hands to the bolster. Heel toe your legs closer to one another before you try to stand up. And then stand up. And just be in mountain pose for a moment. Let your weight now come back towards your heels. Okay, so you can move all of your props except for your chair out of your way, your main chair. We're going to go into downward facing dog, but we're going to do it to build strength. So this is not about flexibility, although obviously there is stretching going on. Excuse me. But it's more about strength, building strength in the arms, the legs, the core. Okay, so it looks like this. Excuse me, something, I got a frog in my throat. So it starts in plank as opposed to starting in down dog. Goodness, we're going to start in plank with some real effort to roll the arm bones out, to roll the front thighs in, and to lift the inner thighs up as we pull the chest forward. And then push back. So again, we're going to focus more on the plank than the dog. So it's really kind of like the dog is our relief. So coming forward into plank. Now, if you tend to hyperextend your elbows, keep a little bend in your elbows. If you tend to keep a bend in your elbows all the time, try to straighten your elbows. Exhale, go back. Lengthen the arms. And then again, roll the arm bones out, come forward into a plank. Make sure your bottom is lower than your shoulders. Strong legs, rolling the thighs in, lifting them, pushing back. Now, this time, come up onto your toes. As you come forward, drop your pelvis down and lift your chest up. Push with your feet. Push the hips down. Lift the front body up. And then lift from your navel back to down dog. So we'll do that again. So come forward into a plank. Roll your arm bones out. Be very strong in your arms as you start to push your hips down and forward. Knees straight. And then from your arms and your navel, pull back to down dog. And then walk in and stand up. So that was fun, right? Hard work. Okay, now you're going to need your block for your back or your ball and your bolster. And go ahead and have your second chair handy. Because we're going to use it, but not right away. And just sit in your chair and bring your legs into Baddha Konasana, and then bring either your ball or your block behind your spine to help you to sit really tall. So with the soles of the feet together, you want to make sure your knees are not higher than your hips. In fact, it's preferable if they're more like mine are, where they're a little lower than your hip points. So here my hip points way up here. My knees are well below my hip points. So that's going to be the healthiest for my knees, which I'm always protecting. So just breathing here, kind of using the support on your spine, not to just lean into, that's not the point. It's to give you feedback as to where your position is, that you're not just leaning forward, you're not just leaning back, that you're in the center. So I want you to try to still drop your tail and lift your pubic bones up and draw the head of your arm bones back. Extend through your neck, dropping the chin down a little bit. Now from here, we're going to take our arms behind the back of the chair with the palms facing towards the body. If you can grab hold underneath your chair seat, do that. And then bend the elbows back behind you. Just feel that stretch across your chest. Now, notice anything that is changing in your waist and pelvic area. In other words, notice if your low back is pushing and your belly protruding. So lift those pubic bones up even more and drop your buttocks flush down. Keep the back of your neck long. And whatever support you're using on your spine will keep you from, leaning back so much, but I do want you to lean your upper body back. Pull the shoulders back. Try to keep the arch as minimal as possible in your low back. Don't over tighten your neck muscles, just keep them soft. And then come back. Whew. Okay, with your second chair, bring it over to your right. And just stay connected to the support on your spine as you reach your arms forward. And turn a little bit more, bringing that left hand to the back corner or the right corner of the second chair. Turn to your right with your right arm behind your chair back. Lift your chest up. Feel the muscles of the belly having to turn to the right. Whew. Any tightness in those belly muscles from all of the core work we've done, you may feel some resistance there. Everything may not be so soft and gooey. And then release. Whew. And let's take the chair over to the other side. And reach first just with both arms. And then walk your right one further to the left and take your left arm back behind your chair seat, or your chair back, I keep saying that. And turn. Really lift those pubic bones up. Draw the top of your pelvis back. Breathe. Soften the shoulders. Take the strain out. Yes, you're making an effort, but there's no help in straining or forcing or striving. And release. Bring the chair in front of you. Just relax your arms for a moment. Now, just leave your right leg as is and stretch your left leg up into your chair. And then reach for the back of the chair with your arms. Sit up tall. Relax your shoulders. Now, the left leg may feel like it's just here to be the receiver, the benefactor of all the work in the rest of the body, but that's just not true. So I want you to draw your thigh muscle up, so engage it, pull it up. You can help that by pulling back on your foot. And just see if you can notice how when you activate this leg really strongly that you get lighter through your spine. There's a lightness that comes into the spine due to the support of the leg. So you can relax your shoulders. You're not needing to hold yourself up with your shoulders. And you should be able to breathe without any constriction. And then bring that leg back to Baddha Konasana. Drop your arms back onto your thighs. Take a few breaths. And then we'll take the right leg up. Arms stretching forward. And again, engage that right leg. Pull the right thigh up until you feel it higher up in your body. And when the right leg engages, the left leg just kind of follows, and that's fine. Both legs are being used to support the lift of the pelvis and to help the spine to relax. Look for that. If you're not feeling it automatically, keep working with trying to connect to your thighs and your legs, engaging them, pulling them back towards your pelvis until you feel the spine receiving that action. And then release it. Come back to Baddha Konasana and release your arms. And then finally, Dandasana. So again, sit nice and tall. It's very, very common to slide forward doing all of this. And then take one leg up into your chair and then the other leg up into your chair. And join the inner big toes together. Spread the toes, pull them back, and engage your legs again, trying to feel that lightness on the front of the spine. Arms are stretched forward, gently, very gently press down on the back of your chair. So your chair should be close enough to you that you're not having to reach for it. It's just there. Because we're not really using this to stretch the shoulders or any of that. We're using it to help us to try to connect to what happens when the legs are activated, pulling up, drawn into their sockets. When the arms are pulling up and drawn into their sockets, that there's a lightness that comes to the front of the spine so that the front of the spine lifts more energetically than through muscular effort. And the head can float. It's kind of, sitting like, one of those tubes that has a ball in it, you blow on it and it kind of, the ball goes up, and so long as you're blowing on it, it kind of balances up there. And that's what we want to feel that our head is doing. The minute that we let go of our legs and our arms and kind of begin to, energy goes down through the spine and the head drops. And then release. Put your feet on your bolster. Remove the support from your back and spread your legs as wide as your bolster. And then just slide your chair forward. Now again, how far forward you go is totally, your call. So, and you can go forward with your hands in your chair seat if you want to go lower. This is going to be much more strengthening in the hip flexor area. So if that's a painful area for you, stay up high instead. Now with your legs on the bolster, your feet should be turned out and the heels kind of falling down the back of the bolster. Okay, so that kind of draws the head of your shin bones back and pushes the femur bones back into their sockets even more strongly than usual when we have our feet on the floor. So as you press out through your trunk and your arms, there's a deepening in the groins that leads us towards squatting, okay? So this is a really healthy action for your hip flexors, your spine, your core muscles. As the yogis say, you're only as old as your spine is. Try to lengthen the spine. And then take your hands to your thighs. Push down and sit back up. Move your bolster out of your way. Take your support again for your back. And sit tall. So let the heaviness of your eyelids act like heavy curtains, falling over and blocking the majority of the light. As you exhale, leaning back into your support, dropping the tailbone, relaxing through the heaviness of the elbows, rolling the arm bones out so the palms are up. Dropping the chin just a bit, pulling the chin back so the neck elongates. Feeling the elbows back on the back of the chair. Breathing. Feeling this new place that you brought yourself to. Hopefully having opened up some closed areas, brought some freshness into those dark spots. Let's bring the hands together at the heart. Bow the head. Big breath in. Out through your mouth. Again. And one more time. Thank yourself for taking this time. May we have faith to know the divine enriches us, invigorates us, and is present with us throughout our day. And may all that need support receive the support that they need. And may our practice benefit the all as we bring ourselves as kinder beings into the world. Those we touch become kinder as well. And in this way, we change the world. Namaste. Okie doke. You survived again. Yay. Okay. So I guess I will look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. So take good care and have a good weekend. Bye-bye.